Alrighty. So I will be curious to hear a little bit about what you wrote when I return on Wednesday. But I would imagine that much of what you wrote in terms of how children learn language and how we teach language and literacy, comes from your own personal experience, your own history as a learner. And perhaps some of you have children, and so it might come also from your observations of children. Or if you're currently teaching, it could come from your observations. But I suspect that there are things that you listed or documented that are going to be very consistent with what you learn in this class. However, I would be fairly certain that there are some things that you're going to learn in this class that will challenge what you have just listed as your current understanding. And all I ask is that you just remain open-minded and just consider the fact that the reason you're taking a class is so that you can learn about how children develop and grow and learn as language users. So that's really an important starting place for us to recognize that there will be some challenges to the current thinking or the current practice that we see with literacy. And again, I think it's in learning, it's important for us to be open. So there will be things you may say, well, I don't agree with that. And that will be just fine, but it will be important for you to be able to support your thinking with something that is reliable. So I think that's a good place to start. You have some understanding, you absolutely do, you have some prior experience, but also you want to be open to learning as we walk through the content together. Okay, so what we're going to do now is an individual activity, and there really are 3 guiding principles that I always like to share at the beginning of this class, and these are really guiding principles for those of us who teach young children. And I'm going to read them to you, but I also have them on little slips of paper, and I have one for each of you that my husband will distribute. So what you're going to do is you're going to read through these, and you're going to pick one of these, and then you're going to symbolically represent this principle in some way. And there are a variety of materials that will be available to you. So you're going to represent one of these principles, and then you're going to be prepared to share your own representation. I'm just going to read through them, but then I'll hand it to you, or my husband will hand it to you, I should say. So 3 important principles. First is children's development, including cognitive development, and thus academic learning, is best supported through a focus on the whole child. That's an important principle. Secondly, children's developmental trajectories are individual in terms of pace. What does that mean? That means children develop at their own pace. In other words, while children's developmental skills and abilities occur through a common general progression, the timing is individual. And this variance is normal. So what that really says is, yes, some kids may learn to read at age 6, some kids may not learn till age 7, and that's normal. And then thirdly, a major goal for learning in the early years is that children will maintain curiosity and confidence in their own thinking. So those are the 3 principles. You're going to get this little piece of paper. Then you're going to have a variety of materials to choose from. And you're going to symbolically represent one of these in a way that makes sense for you. And then we'll do some sharing. So let's turn the video off or pause.